was like the top of the New York Post for a little while today. Yeah, they had pictures of them. I'm disappointed they're not gold,
Interesting.
It would have been too heavy.
Interesting. I wonder
but
if Elon
Trump,
brought those because he's been at Mar-a-Lago a lot this week.
I wouldn't doubt it. Or
I'm not sure.
there's another company, that also has the robot dogs, that MIT worked on. Can't remember the name of them
Yeah,
though.
I'm not sure if Elon's involved in the robot dog business and the robot dog hustle.
Because I mean, he's strictly focused on like the robot humans and the chip, the brain chip, and space and other shit.
Wouldn't be surprised. Well, he's just got robot humans, like not dogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Right.
why he's like strictly focused on the robot
The
human.
bipeds.
Yeah.
Right.
By the
Episode
way,
207.
those robots were being controlled autonomous. I mean, remotely as well, which is pretty funny to me. But still a marvel
Which
of engineering.
the what's the
Those
robots?
yeah.
Oh, like the ones that were like, "Here's your gun, Roger," and they shoot up the car, which is just
Mhm.
like someone had a joystick on. That's pretty. They,
All right.
uh,
All
I'll
right.
post the link in the group
Go ahead and start recording the audio, senor.
you post a link in the group.
for the for this.
Oh, for the YouTube. Okay,
Yeah.
not sure
Alrighty.
what I was thinking.
3, 2, 1, let's roll.
Good evening. Welcome back for episode 100 and or no 207 of your Endless Ranters podcast. We do what we want, and we appreciate your support. My name is Chris, and I am one of your hosts for this evening. I'm joined by other. I haven't got nothing clever to say. I'm just. We're just going to get right to it. I'm joined by our other host. It's Quana. How you doing?
Good. How are you? Your cheeks hurting from all your smiles this week.
I know I got wrinkles. I got wrinkles from all the smiling and the laughter.
Yeah.
I've taken years off my life of the gasping for a breath, like not being able to breathe multiple times a day.
Yeah.
Were you
So
clutching
much
your
good
chest as
stuff.
well when you were having trouble
Uh,
breathing?
my left arm was really hurting, but I just started hitting it real hard and it went away. It went away.
Yeah. I'm
Okay,
good.
that's
Good.
Yeah.
good.
And there's producer Manny. What's going down, old man?
Yo,
Yo,
I'm following your lead, and I have nothing witty to say.
yeah.
So let's
Yeah.
just get right into whatever the hell you guys are going to discuss tonight.
Oh man, I don't even know where we should start. Where we should start. Trump is going to be, well, we'll see, you know. Uh,
How many more attempts on his life do you think are made between now and inauguration day?
I mean, he
Gosh,
won the
I pray
election, but
none.
it's going to be a long, what, 3 months or whatever. Yeah. So November, December, January.
Yeah,
Oh,
fly right by.
yeah.
Holidays.
It's going to be a long, long 3 months.
It feels like he's already kind of getting stuff, sorted, making decisions and things.
Hmm.
I'm not
So,
surprised. I think back when he won in 2000, because when he won in 2016 on build that wall, that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Like once he won, like the people that were about to leave their places and wherever in South America, Central America, as soon as he won, he wasn't even in office yet, but they were just like, man, maybe we shouldn't go on this trek.
Yeah. A huge caravan turned around today, just
I
knowing
saw
that.
the headlines, but it's like, is that just like it's just too good to be true? But that's kind of Trump's game though, is like build the wall was not like he kind of knows like I don't really actually need to build the wall, but if all these people think I'm gonna build the wall,
Right.
they just won't come or it sends the message that
You're not welcome.
it may be kind of hostile, you know.
Yeah.
Even if the
Yeah.
wall's not there yet, they plan on building the wall,
Yeah.
so they're probably going to have people around at the wall building site, and they're probably going to be kind of hostile to me. So that it did that. So then then the libs are just like he never built the wall. Blah, blah. It's like, well, he didn't
Did they
need to.
secretly want him to build the wall? Is that what they were? Is that what all the Schadenfreude was about?
I don't know.
Well, didn't they like tear down a bunch of it and then they like got rid of the supplies or the materials for like
Yeah, they
pennies on the
sold a bunch of
dollar.
stuff off. Yeah. I mean,
Like it's so ridiculous.
that was one of the many Kamala disaster interviews, I think, where she
Yeah.
basically, where Anderson Cooper was like, but in your budget, you budgeted to build more wall, right? She's just like,
Yeah.
well, let's not, why do we want to call it a wall? I don't know what she said,
Yeah.
but like she just tried to kind of dance around it. And he kept, and in fairness to Anderson Cooper, he was like,
Yeah.
no, but seriously, like there's this line item
Yeah.
that says build more wall. Like
Yeah.
how do you,
Right.
how do you explain that? So how do
Yeah.
you explain? Because you said the wall was bad, and now your budget says build more wall.
Yeah.
And one of the many, many lies or
Well, they
just
tried to
holes
gaslight and
that
say
they
that
were
she
in.
was never the border czar, even. I've heard that. Like, I've heard people say that. It's like, are you
I mean,
kidding me?
that's the
Weird.
whole. It's all like gaslighting because it's like when Biden was like she's the border czar. It's like everybody's like, okay, great. But the truth is, at that point, the truth is that, well, there's no such position as a border czar. Like, we don't actually have czars in our country.
Right.
You know what I
We're
mean? So,
not
like,
Russia, damn it.
but then I guess the libs are kind of saying that now. Like, she was never the border czar. And that's kind of the reasoning they're giving is because
Right.
there's no official position. So it's like, it all's
So that was a
BS.
Biden
And
gaffe, an early on gaffe that he made her the
man,
border czar.
It's like, look,
I
just give her some sort of
think,
position, all right? Make her happy. Keep her to shut up.
I think the way that meeting goes is let's make her the border czar. we'll 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 pacify her office because her office is probably like it's like Veep that her office is probably like
Yeah.
give us something to
Please.
do
We
give us
need
something to
something.
do so that we
Ooh,
can parlay this into something
meaningful.
Yeah.
successful for us, for our team, for the VP team. And they were like, okay, I know what we can give her the border thing because that kind of shields Biden from it maybe a little bit.
Mhm.
Right.
It
But
didn't
then she
really.
never went to the border. Like it was just crazy. It was
Yeah,
like
and
months and
then
months and months.
and
So weird.
The Biden team had to know like, hey, this lady's not qualified to be the border czar because
Our made up position. She is not qualified for this fake
that
position.
they had to know like they were just kind of giving her something that was probably going to be like, hey, if she can, and okay, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. They were like, hey, if she can pull this off and fix the problem, then man, that's going to make us all look great, right?
Right.
And Biden's got a second term, but it's like, and if she doesn't, then we can just say, well, she was the border czar. Well, she was the
It
border czar.
is kind of
But that
a
was
fun
just
thing to.
all. That was like a obviously it got used against her, so I was fine with that. But it was kind of a
Yeah.
setup on her in the first place. To be fair, like that
Well,
was
she
a
was the most hated person, nobody really cared too much for her a couple
yeah.
months ago.
I like how the Democrats all of a sudden went back to July 20th, 2024, way back, way
Yeah.
back, like just you know hard to even remember back
Yeah.
a few months ago when,
Yeah.
when they were like Biden can't retire. Like I know
Yes.
Kamala Harris was a terrible candidate, and the reason I know that is because all the Democrats told me that over the summer when they were like Biden can't resign because Kamala can't win, and all of a sudden, Biden, like Biden shit his pants on national TV, and then they basically forced him out. Can't wait for the books to be written about that. What really happened there?
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, here we are. They forced him out, and
I bet Hunter Biden writes the book. His father's memoir. That's going to be his book you watch. Hasn't he already written a
Nah,
book?
oh
I
man,
don't think
Hunter's
so.
already written a book.
I almost want Trump to pardon Hunter just so he can tell his story.
He said he would. How has that gotten zero news coverage, by the way, that Hunter was,
Because it's not important.
but it's just weird though. Like, I haven't seen
That
him
what?
once.
That
That
what?
he pled guilty to
Oh yeah.
the stuff that was on the laptop with his dad, the collusion.
Well, I guess he had to. Like, is that
Yeah.
that's my first thought is can he had to get it done before his dad was out of office, I guess.
Right. But he
I
still
guess.
pled guilty to it. I mean, and they're yeah,
Well, I mean, I think they had it like, I mean, if you're a crack and meth addicted criminal,
yeah,
especially like you're into financial crimes and like tax evasion
sure.
crimes, and the FBI just gets a hold of your entire laptop and your entire iCloud account, yeah, they're gonna have you dead to rights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're gonna
But
have
I
you
mean
dead to
the
rights.
correspondence is about put some aside for the big guy. I mean, there was only that Judge Joe Brown episode. He said that there were 3 laptops, which is crazy. Not just the one that the media told us about.
I knew there was a laptop and there was a phone because the crazy thing about the hunter, I talked about it years ago, but like his ex-wife wrote a book about their demise and all that. And like a lot, like she found out all the stuff he was doing because he left a phone behind. Like he left an old phone, an old iPhone out, like just at her house. Like when he left an old iPhone that was unlocked out or at their home. So she was able to just kind of look at everything, like just look at his entire.
Crazy.
She was she's like everything, like his schedule, calendars, pictures. Yeah,
Crackheads. So funny.
but yeah, so yeah, that would be really if he got pardoned and he could tell a story. I need to know like why didn't you just buy a new laptop? Like why didn't you
Yeah.
just buy a new
Because
laptop,
he was on drugs, man. He wasn't thinking straight.
Yeah.
dude?
It
He
all
the
goes
guy
back to
was
the drugs.
I so it's just like cheap. He was
Well,
like
he
even though,
probably has stuff on that laptop that he likes to look at, a-
Could be that.
but
and
the thing is he
you
backed,
can't really replace it.
but he backed everything up. Like he backed everything up to like his iCloud account. So it's like he
I'm
didn't
giving
need
the
to.
benefit. Maybe you're giving too much
Yeah,
credit because sometimes these updates will on the computer be like, we'll update the program and then it'll be like, it'll just
yeah,
automatically
maybe.
select that for you. So, but
But
then again, who
just
knows?
judging by like,
How
but
tech
like
savvy.
everything they have and everything we know about his entire life and all his ATM withdrawals is
Right,
like all
right.
because he literally had everything backed up to his iCloud account.
So great. So great.
So you're saying like, oh, you're saying maybe like he had like Adobe Illustrator, like the Adobe Creative, he had a Adobe Creative Suite installed on that
No, I'm saying
laptop.
he
He didn't want to
probably
have to go
had
through that.
Yep. He's like, I don't want to have to go through this install process or whatever the fuck or sign in all the
Yeah,
time.
maybe,
I'm sick of the two-step verification.
maybe.
Oh,
But I
Hunter.
think that was like yeah, like Tim Pool said that a while back. He was like, if he put his life on YouTube and just charged like, $10
Yeah,
a month, he
I
would
think
be a
I would
millionaire.
subscribe. I think I would
He
subscribe.
would he would all his debt, all his tax debts he'd pay off immediately, like within a month. Because everybody would be like, I want to see this guy walk because this guy's got a crazy life. Like,
Hmm.
Yeah, he could start an OnlyFans. Doesn't even have to go to YouTube. There's already a platform for it
yeah,
There you
privately.
go.
because his life must have just been wild. Yeah, just and it's kind of yeah, like you got me on something here because it's like, what good does it do to have him in prison that just costs
Yeah,
us money?
right,
Whereas like this guy needs a pardon so he can just start telling his life story,
right. Make him dance.
talking about how he used to go out with the Obamas and hang out with the Obama girls.
That's what Judge Joe Brown said, that there's pictures and proof that he definitely was hanging out with the Obama girls.
Oh, so yeah, I can't wait for the books to come out about how much the Bidens, the
Allegedly.
Obamas, and Kamala and the Kamala Harris and like how much they all just despise each other.
Yeah,
Like the Clintons, the Obamas, the Bidens, and the Kamala Harris. I don't want to say Harris's because she's the only Harris. Um, but
yeah,
like the four of them,
They're sick of each other.
they hate each other. Like they really.
They can't all wait to retire
Woo.
and never have to see each other ever again.
yeah,
And I wonder, like on the Republican side, there was that like in 2016 or 2015,
Hmm.
they all like all the contenders in the Republican Party tried to come at Trump and it just didn't like he just batted them down really quick. But
Yeah.
like the Biden and then they all like he beat them down so badly that they were all like, I'm sorry, sir. Let's get along now. Like Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, like he gave them such a whoop, and they were just like, "Yep, I know my place now." And yeah, how can I help you, President Trump? But like
Right.
on the other side, it's like they screw each other so bad, like maybe in more devious ways. Because it's
Right.
not like
Right.
Trump really insulted Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz badly,
Right.
but like the Bidens and the
More
Clintons,
personal attacks.
yeah, but the Bidens and the Clintons and the Obamas, like there's got to be a lot of devious stuff going on behind the scenes,
Yeah.
and they just hate each other, and
Yeah.
it's really cost them this time. Because I mean, obviously, like in any organization, to win, you have to have teamwork.
Mhm.
Right.
And
Of
when like
course.
all your like key players are kind of like out for themselves and have grudges, and it's not good, not good, not a good, not a winning solution or formula.
Yeah. Ugh.
Team ain't
Think of all
going
the
anywhere.
think of all the dirty things they've done that only they know about, like all the secrets and lies, and
I
it's
mean, it's
just
just
weird. What a weird.
I I'm not joking. If there was a military tribunal that put Hillary Clinton on trial because she knew the whole time Russian collusion was going on, the whole time that families were being torn apart because friends, families were being torn apart across the country, right?
Mhm.
Because some people were just convinced that Trump was a Russian agent, and other people were just like, "Are you kidding me?" Right?
Still are.
And Hillary Clinton knew, like, Hillary Clinton knew the whole fucking time. Hillary
Yeah.
Clinton and a few of her piece of shit allies there, Podesta and those all those fucking scumbags,
That guy is
they
something
knew the
else.
whole time. They knew from Christmas 2016, before Trump even took office, that the whole Russia collusion hoax came from them. They fucking knew it.
Podesta still has his
Fucking,
hands in the White House. It's sick. It's
do you
sick.
understand? Like honestly, like if you care at all, like the Thanksgivings and the holidays for American families that were ruined because they were peddling these lies, and they knew they were lies. They
Yeah.
knew the Russia collusion stuff was a lie. They knew it.
Yeah.
And then fact, like all the like the COVID, like that's just more of the same. But like that started off with a huge lie. They tried to frame the president of the United States for treason. They tried to frame
Yeah.
the president of the United States for treason, tore American families apart. Some might argue that we'll never be able to put it back together again.
They're still freaking out
And
about the Russia collusion and
and
all the
yep,
things that
and
he's done.
Hillary
He's a
Clinton,
rapist. He's this and that and the other.
that cloven hoof she devil Hillary Clinton knew the whole time that it was all bullshit.
Yeah.
That is pure evil.
It really is. It really is. That's why when they bring her around, I feel like so many people are very clear about who she is and what she's capable of. I mean, people talk about the Clinton body count. I mean, it's like a known thing. Like it's not just crazy people like me that know a bunch of conspiracies. It's real people that have real thoughts about things. They know these things about the Clintons. Like it's just weird that they bring them out. Like there's some, I
That
mean,
stuff
Bill Clinton was
never.
on that plane. Everyone knows it. Like there's
Mhm.
pictures. It's
Well,
weird.
it was just convenience because it was like, why catch a commercial flight, and
Yeah,
when you can just
sure.
hop a flight across the country with your friend Jeffrey Epstein,
Except there's a 16-year-old rubbing his shoulders. I mean, it's gross. Come on.
Jimmy Kimmel's personal chef is cooking up some barbecue in the back of the plane, you
Yeah.
know, nothing going
Hmm.
on. Just catching a ride, catching some good food.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all he was doing. Right, right, right. Well, I mean, it's like, do we even need that to think that Clinton was,
Oh,
what a that was disappointing because I did vote for Clinton. That was very disappointing.
sure. No, I mean, I think that the media did what it was intended to do back in that day because there wasn't a lot of other ways to see anything. It was very cut and dry. You just kind
Well,
of,
remember Clinton was running talking about we need to cut down on welfare. We
yeah,
need to make sure like we need to do drug tests on welfare recipients, and we need to like
yeah.
have a tough border. Like Clinton
But he
was
went on
like
Arsenio Hall and played the saxophone, and everybody was like, "Oh my God!" Oh.
This is
Seriously.
these are these crazy, like, does everybody have this? Like these crazy revelations that just wash over you where you're just like, oh my God, Bill Clinton was a right winger compared to Donald Trump.
Mhm.
Sure.
Bill
Yeah.
Clinton was a right wing conservative compared to Donald Trump's 2024 politics.
Well, I
Crazy,
think,
crazy to
yeah,
think about.
yeah, yeah, it
Barack
is.
Obama was against gay marriage. Was I
Yes.
think he was, yeah.
Yeah, no, Trump is the only president to go into office for gay marriage. And yet they have him, gonna, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy the stories that they've been told and the lies that they're believing when it's really just a simple Google search. And it's just maddening. It's
You
just
can't trust
all,
Google though, man. You can't
I think
trust anything
searching
the
it, I think
internet.
reading, you know what, reading it, this is a good kind of transition because reading it doesn't really do it justice. You have to
yeah,
experience it.
Mm.
And one of the themes I wanted to talk about tonight was like that. Yeah, a lot of people have had, their eyes have been open the last 4 years.
sure.
Obviously, all the nut jobs remain. They seem a little bit more calm so far this year than they did in 2016. Maybe they got their meds right. You know, there are always
Right.
a lot of advances in the technology, a lot of
Sure are.
CBD, a lot of CBD products out there, a lot of
Yeah,
Maybe a lot of people
you know,
microdosing mushrooms, you know?
yeah,
sure.
exactly. Yeah, maybe that
Sure.
could be the explanation for the what seems like a little bit more mental stability
Hmm.
Yeah.
than week one in 2016 of
Right.
President-elect Trump. But
Well,
oh,
so,
oh,
the stuff with Palestine and all of the Gaza stuff, I think people are real conflicted, and they don't even really know how to articulate it. I think that
there was a really
they might be relieved, maybe, and they can't even say that. There might be a little bit of relief because they know that, things are really probably going to change.
there was a meme I used on our homepage, our Facebook page. It was the one with U.S. tech. It was excuse me, missiles going off from like Israel and from
Hmm.
Lebanon or Gaza,
Yeah.
just like two sets of missiles going off in the air, and it was like on one side it said U.S. textiles,
Oh
and the other it
yeah.
said U.S. textiles, and I think people
Yeah.
like that's a meme, but that meme was like
True.
right hook to the jaw to so many. Like it's just like, well, I think by the time people saw that meme, they're just like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
We are paying. We
Yeah.
are, yeah. And my
I
theme is
said,
like we're not even paying for it. We're actually borrowing money against our children to pay for it and their
right.
grandchildren to pay for funding both sides of these of
Yep.
Semites, I guess.
Hmm.
It's
Paying for
crazy.
all their everything. Yeah, it is crazy. Just a lot of eyes opened, a lot of eyes open to that kind of stuff. The money, the financial, the Ukraine money, how the Uniparty is acting.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that voted for Joe Biden that are just like, wow, that we really thought that things were going to get better.
Right. For sure.
So a lot of eyes opened.
Yeah.
Um,
I think
hopefully a
that the
lot of eyes
celebrity stuff
open.
too has helped with, they used to be able to bring out celebrities, and there was like when Bill Clinton went on Arsenio Hall, that was like the biggest TV show out there. I don't think that celebrities had the same draw as they've had in the past for their party.
Yeah, basically, if you're a celebrity in 2024 and you came out for the Democrats, um, you were basically being accused of being at degenerate sex parties with Puff Daddy. Like
Yeah.
that's like that was like the instant connection. It's like didn't
Yeah.
matter who you were. It's like
Right.
here's a Clay Aiken has said you should vote for Kamala. Oh, he must have been at it's like it doesn't matter who you are. It's like Martha Stewart said she's voted for Diddy Party. You know,
Well,
like Joel
Diddy
Osteen
did.
says vote for Kamala. He was at a Diddy party too. Like if you're a celebrity and you come up for Kamala, like you just you start getting memed as like,
Diddy did, after his house was raided, he made a TikTok or a video that went viral where he was sitting out with his child and he was reading off a list of names. And it's just interesting that the list of names, I mean, you start like almost everybody that was on that list at one point was shaking their ass on the stage for Kamala in weird
Yeah.
ways. Like Make the Stallion. Come on. Make the Stallion, okay. Cardi B.
Yeah, the Hoteps are kind of pissed about that part because they were like, you had like black women out there dancing and shaking their
Yeah.
ass for you, but you didn't have any like, she really didn't have any that I remember like black women executives that were
Right.
like, this is the woman that's going to be my chief of staff here.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's the
Like,
gaslighting.
she's
Trump
an
doesn't surround himself
attorney,
with smart people.
like she's an attorney for Nabisco and she's a freaking killer and
Yeah.
she's going to be my chief of staff or
Yeah.
like this is a black woman here who is a lieutenant general who's going to be who I'm going to take into my cabinet as my whatever the hell,
Yeah.
no, it's like, no, there's Meg the Stallion.
Yeah. And here's Bon Jovi playing acoustically. Weird, decrepit Bon Jovi.
That's like a double whammy of really bad judgment on her part, which sometimes candidates, I guess, would just have that, not the best
Right.
judgment. And then like
Yeah.
Isn't that
her,
what their staffers are for, to keep
yeah, and
them,
then the other part is like, yeah, her staff is just like, sounds great. I love Meg the Stallion. She is my favorite. Like you're telling me that I can get a free Meg the Stallion, like I can meet
I
Meg.
can't
Yeah,
believe how much money they paid these people to come
yeah.
support her.
The current
Like,
stories are that she raised $1 billion. Like I don't know if these are really true numbers because like whether that money actually got transferred, but supposedly she raised $1 billion and now their campaign is $20 million in debt.
yeah.
oh wow,
So now I think that kind of comes down to they were spending money that
they
was
didn't have.
supposed to be donated, but the billionaire didn't send the last couple checks
Yeah. A
because
little
he was like, this
disappointed.
this
He
this bee's
knew.
gonna lose.
Yeah,
Because
they
Yeah.
knew.
like
The donors
Woo.
knew.
and now the campaign has to be like, hey man, come on. You said you were gonna give us $10 million
The campaign has to start
and
a
Right.
GoFundMe to pay
we
back.
spent all that money
Right.
and now we got vendors and
Yeah.
Meg
We
Meg the
can't sell the
Stallion's like,
Call
I
Her
need my
Daddy
yeah.
podcast set. It's not going to get the same coin that it cost to build it.
Can you believe that? Like this really needs to disgust people on a working, like a real class, like working class fucking
Sure.
revolution level.
Yeah.
They spent over $100,000 building a fake Call Me Daddy set in a
Yeah. In a
hotel
hotel
room
room.
in what, DC or New York or wherever.
Oh wait, I
Yeah.
thought
In
that she had went to the
instead
studio itself.
No,
No.
no, no. Instead of flying to the lady's actual studio in California,
Wow.
now if they tell me that, well, it's because that lady lives in a place that the Secret Service couldn't vet or whatever, or
Hmm.
this, okay.
Hmm.
But then it's like you could just have it in a hotel room lobby or like
She wanted the
in
same
one
thing
of
for Joe Rogan. Yeah. Whitney
their
Houston got
ballrooms
interviewed
or
by
something
Barbara
like
Stri
that.
or Barbara
Walters.
Walters in a hotel. I
Yeah,
mean,
Blah blah
that's
blah
that was
blah.
fine. They didn't have to build a big set.
that's just real. That's strange. Yeah, that's like fake for no reason. That's
Hmm.
real.
I wish I
Like
knew who he is.
I can
God.
understand being fake for a reason, but like when people are fake for no reason because they just make up like we need to make it seem like we were, or I suspect it's like they have had $1 billion they raised
Hmm.
in
Yeah.
campaign funds and they were just like,
We gotta do
my
something with it.
my friend is a contractor and owns a general contracting company and they can build sets and he gave me a quote for $100,000 to build this set, so we got the money, let's do it.
You think the hotel gave them shit for doing that too? It's like, hey, this isn't part of the agreement. Like, we didn't check this room
i'm
out for you to build a set in.
I'm guessing
I'm sure
the
they had to pay them off too.
if I'm the hotel, I'm just like, absolutely ma'am, we have a $20,000 room reset fee.
Yeah.
And it's just like, sweet, we're gonna renovate this room for free, like
Yeah.
awesome, like we'll just because we'll
It's
just,
weird though too. It's so basic. It's literally like two chairs and a coffee table and some wooden letters on the
yeah.
wall. Like I could have went to Michael's and made that set in, I mean, I could have made that set for
See,
under a
that's
thousand
another,
dollars.
it's like on every level, it's like, what about like the waste? Like like on a green level, it's
It
so,
should say something though too. Like that would have been the way she would govern, is that she thinks wasting $100,000 for an interview is that's a good idea
that's
of her
Because it's
like,
for the
campaign money.
that's like authoritarian communist kind of stuff. It's just like, the communists that were ruling the Soviet Union, running it into the ground. They all had Sony stereos and
Yeah,
American products, and they had the best of the best. They weren't living
sure.
they weren't living in the apartment complexes with the people they were ruling. They
Right.
didn't care. They could care less that their food cost, like their dinner was the equivalent of like a regular worker's annual, like food
income.
grocery budget. They didn't care.
Right.
Like they just did not
Yeah.
care. It was all to them. It's like funny money, and it's like they also deserve it also because they're just better and more powerful. Just
Yeah.
better. They're just
They're doing it
better.
for everybody. They deserve it.
Well, they're helping the working class, but they're also just so much better than them at the same time. So it's
Mhm.
like, man, how awesome is that to think of yourself that way? Like you're just so generous and better than everybody. Oh wow.
Yeah.
These are scum. Anyway,
Scum.
not to dwell on it, but it's like that is it. Like you could have sent a kid to like an HBCU for 4 years
Yeah.
with that money.
Yeah.
You fuckers. God damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You could have created a scholarship for
I
one
think,
student.
yeah. And isn't that all? I mean, how did we find out about that? That just leaked
Yeah, who brought that
information,
to
or
light?
is that
Like
public
who made
knowledge
that
what they
These are
spend
all
big?
these
stuff
are all
on?
these are all going to be public things. Like these are not things you can really
Crazy.
hide.
Great.
And I think that I was just like in the last couple hours, I was seeing headlines about how the campaign staff is starting to leak like a sieve, is what they're
Mhm.
saying.
Ah,
So they're all spilling all their stories because that's what they would do, and they got their asses whooped. It's like
of course.
so now the defense is coming off the field blaming the defensive coaches, and like the
Yeah.
defensive coaches are blaming the head coach. The head coach is blaming the front office,
I just loved
right? Because they
waking
just
up
got destroyed.
and the immediate, like the very next day, they're blaming blacks and Latinos for, I couldn't, like, not even 24 hours, the people that you were like, could not speak higher about and how important it was and how they're really going to make a difference. And then the
Yeah,
very next day, they're misogynistic,
I
they're
see
inherently
a lot of hate,
racist.
a lot of hate on white women who didn't
Yeah.
vote for Kamala apparently because they need to be found out.
They had a
That's
whole
A lot of
all.
group.
hate, for black men because they didn't vote for Kamala. Like too many of them, and it wasn't even that big a percentage, right? As the hoteps were
Right.
talking about, but some small number of black men decided to vote for Trump this year.
Mhm.
A lot of hate for Latinos and Hispanics because obviously you're very misogynistic and all that. Um, Not that there's anything wrong with that, Manny. You're fine. Don't worry. We're not judging you.
Uh,
Oh,
I
Not
would like
judging you.
to, for the moment, clarify it's machismo. Thank you very much, not
Oh yeah,
misogyny.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
jeez. Yeah.
Um, but it's
Shout
like
out
they
to all the
haven't.
machistas out there.
But man, they sure have been silent on all the Michigan Muslims.
Yeah.
They sure haven't had any like harsh words for them, have they?
No.
You know what I mean? Because Michigan also was a blue firewall swing state, whatever.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah. Apparently, a lot of those folks are pretty conservative, and they really weren't going to vote for a woman.
Yeah.
Weren't going to vote for Kamala Harris for a lot of reasons, the Middle East reasons, and what the
Sure.
Biden Harris administration's done there.
Did
The
you
weak
see Gavin
leadership, I
was
think, is the
upset?
big thing.
Upset with
Like,
Californians. He doesn't know us. He
oh,
doesn't, that's not the California he knows.
oh my God. He's like, that's not the landscaper I know. It's like, whoa.
Oh,
Uh,
he's the
but it's
worst.
like Michigan, they lost Michigan, and they don't none of the angry Democrats are saying a peep about the Muslim community
Yeah. Yeah. Scared of
who
him.
They don't want to touch
Yeah, they
Still,
sure
that.
they're still
are.
scared.
Yeah. Like they're saying
Muslims don't
all
mess
kinds of stuff, but
around.
everybody. But it's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I really do feel bad for people that are scared. It's just so weird to me. It's just weird, especially people that live in California. Like, what are you scared of? Nothing's going to change in California as far as
yeah,
gender affirming care
yeah.
or
I don't like.
abortions.
I've almost post. Been. I haven't really posted anything on my personal Facebook because, like, I've seen posts from friends of mine who apparently are scared, and it's like I don't like that.
Yeah, I feel
Now
sad. It makes me feel sad.
I'm not close enough to them to be like, hey, don't
Don't
be
be scared.
scared. You're retarded and stupid and your emotions are getting, I mean, that because that's kind of my bedside manner. It's just go straight to you're
No one
retarded.
ever wants to hear that from you. No one ever wants you to say, don't be scared. Maybe your kids, maybe your wife, but nobody online.
Yeah. So it's like, I feel bad, but it's like, yeah, I'm not close enough to be like, let me help you.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
also not close enough to be like, well, if you ever feel scared, like come over. Cause obviously, like if you're in my backyard, ain't nothing happened. Like safest place in the world. Uh,
yeah,
like I want to be like, I'm not gonna let you get round. Like I don't think you're gonna get rounded up. And if you were, like I'd,
yeah.
come on
Come on
over.
over.
Like,
Yeah,
cause,
we'll hide you in the floorboard.
but I mostly my message to what I want to say, like, is just, but I understand, like, I mean, I'm seeing like, yeah, emotions are high.
Yeah. Hopefully it
And
calms down when they realize
and
that they're not
not the
rounded
wrinkle
up.
causing laughter emotions. But I want to say like, okay, let's work on some of the things we were trying to work on in 2016, which is if you're afraid of what the executive branch is going to do to you,
Hmm.
we should really focus on making the executive branch a lot smaller and weaker, and making the government smaller and weaker in general. Because
Yep.
if it's smaller and weaker, then they don't really have the power to round anybody up or fuck with anybody. There's way too
Come
many
kill
of
your
us.
squirrel.
So let's focus. Can you hear me? Can you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth and saying that I'm saying to you, which is like, we need to weaken this thing that you're afraid of.
Right.
Like we need to weaken it to where it's like no one needs to be afraid of it. Because can you understand the like I get worried about it when they start talking about free speech and stuff like that, where
Yeah.
like, and then which leads into my next point, which is like the founding fathers gave the Second Amendment to everybody,
Hmm.
and it wasn't for hunting. It was the ultimate. You are not going to round me up. You're not going to round me and my friends up. It's like the
Yeah.
ultimate get out of getting rounded up
Yeah.
card, like the Second Amendment. So like shrink the government, exercise your rights, especially the Second Amendment, because no one's going to round you up. But at the same time, it's like they kind of. I mean, I understand like some of these people, like they probably aren't allowed to own guns for multiple reasons. I think that's bullshit, because I don't think if you're sick or you have problems, whatever, you still get it. You still should have the right to defend your home
Hmm.
and your person from attack. Um, but I also like it's not just that. It's also like I think that some people kind of get off. I don't know what you call it. Like they have a victim mentality. Like they just kind of like it's
Yes.
narcissistic, and
So
they just want to
much.
be and they want to be like they don't really want to take the simple act of like, hey, take a couple nights a week
Yeah.
over the next month and get yourself a concealed carry permit. Set aside 400 or 500 bucks maybe, and uh, set a little time aside and a little bit of money, and you're going to feel a whole lot better about your security and your roundup ability. Like you're
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
yeah, your susceptibility to be rounded up if
Who's
there
telling
ever
them they're
comes
going
a
to
time.
be
I don't
rounded
know.
up? Like, where does that even
I
come
don't know.
from?
I
I think
don't
that's just
know.
people's
I've
tendency to
never heard it.
catastrophize and
I've
go to
never
the
heard it.
jump to the worst possible conclusion.
It's crazy
But
because then when like Australians were getting rounded up for like COVID vaccines or whatever for the sniffles, like no one like the
Shout out
round
to all our
the
Aussie mates.
whole round me up community was like very silent. All the people now
No,
that are just like, oh, Trump's going to round me up when people are getting rounded up in Australia or wherever
the people
for
that are scared about rounding up wanted people like me that didn't get vaccinated rounded up. Like they wanted,
yeah.
it's so weird.
It's
Oh
because when
yeah,
they
yeah,
were
yeah, yeah.
rounding you up, they were rounding you up for the good cause. That's why, Quana.
No, I actually
It's
saved something today because like I try to screenshot things, but there was an article in 2017 from the financial no from foreignpolicy.com.
okay.
Um and the title of the article was like shit, I probably would have find it, but the title of the article, yeah, was 3 ways to get rid of President Trump before 2020. Why you need to read the 25th Amendment by Rosa Brooks, January 30th, 2017. This is
7 years. Oh,
this is the same month he was inaugurated.
mm,
The fourth possibility is one that until recently I would have said was unthinkable in the United States of America, a military coup, or at least a refusal by military leaders to obey certain orders. This is on a website called foreignpolicy.com, which is not a bunch of cranks. This is like a major think tank,
Right.
influential people, and they were literally talking in 2017 about
a military
um,
coup.
a military coup.
Have any of them ever
And then
served? Is my question.
people like here's my bias. I carry grudges. Like it's not my best quality, but like I remember stuff and like I carry
Right.
grudges and I remember stuff that you try to do to me and my friends. And so I just look back at this in 2017 at these motherfuckers that were trying to uh justify out in the open, they were trying to justify a coup.
Yeah.
Um and then they were like, we should have unity.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I didn't see the
I
Kid
don't
Rock
know
video.
about
I couldn't find it. You'll have to share that in the group.
yeah, Kid Rock was
What do you do
well,
now?
he's probably just drunk on the Bud Light, which can affect your
Your
Yeah.
can
judgment.
make you different.
Mm.
Can affect you sexually. No, I'm just kidding. But no, he did a thing. He said it
Oh
wasn't time to
wow.
gloat. It wasn't time to gloat. It was a time for unity or something like that. And I was just
Yeah.
like, I don't know, buddy. They were these people that you want to unify with are still around. They're not in prison for
Right.
suggesting a coup in
Mhm.
Right.
2017. They got promoted for that.
Right.
They got promoted for saying things like that. They probably have their own think tank now.
Yeah.
They
I
probably got a
haven't
bunch
really
of
seen a lot of
money
gloating. Have you seen a lot of gloating? I haven't seen a lot of gloating.
just inside of me, just when I look in the
Yeah.
mirror, just when I look in the mirror,
Right.
people, just when I look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but when you see
No.
stuff already happening different, like when you see things changing already, like people talking
Yeah.
about stopping bombing, and I mean, you would think people, the collective would be happy.
Well, the other side probably sees that as gloating when we post stuff like, look at all the stuff Trump's already done. He's not in office. It's like,
Is that gloating if like they
no, I'm
stopped
saying
dropping bombs
they
on
probably,
Gaza?
yeah, we see that as just facts. And like, they're just like, that's gloating. It's like, all right,
Okay.
fair enough, whatever. I don't care. It is what it is.
Go shave your head.
I can't wait. I can't wait. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
I
we'll
mean
see.
it's like it's
It's like a
Matrix
what?
time. It is Matrix time because it's like we're in like the new season is starting and we're on a cliffhanger. It's like what's gonna happen in the Middle East? Like there's like just dramatic music is playing. It's like a cliffhanger ends. It's like the end of like an episode of 24, and it's like what's gonna happen in Ukraine? Like how is that? Because everybody's like, it's not going to keep going the way it's going. So how is it going to change? Is Ukraine going to get all their their land back, or is there gonna just going to be like everybody's just have to like kind of eat shit and
Yeah.
admit that like you can't like yeah
Equal sides eating shit. No
like
one's joining
Russia owns
NATO.
it,
You're backing the fuck up, and we're going back to not
yeah,
killing
or
each
like
other's children.
because I think that Russia's probably going to wind up owning parts of what were Ukraine That's it.
All right.
But like maybe Trump makes Putin like pay a shit ton of money or do something else, or I don't know, because I mean he's kind of the one that can like make up something crazy, you know,
Yeah.
or like he'll be like, you can keep Eastern Ukraine, but um I'm gonna need to see you and Kim Jong Un kiss,
Right. Well,
you know,
I
like an
think that
like
that
a
was
like
originally
American
like in
pie,
the
like
90s what happened. Like there was an agreement made that they would never join NATO, and there was some sort of agreement. There was like some weird little thing agreed to, and then when Kamala went and said, you were going to bring Ukraine into NATO, that's when everything started. So I think Trump
that was
pulling out of
another
NATO,
thing. They didn't even need to use that against Kamala, but that was another thing. Just kind of going back to like Joe Biden screwing Kamala over. Maybe that was the happy hour. Maybe we were talking about that
right?
earlier, and since we were sort of recording, but like they sent Kamala over to like I don't forget now, but they sent Kamala over on like a major foreign policy diplomatic mission to go to Ukraine or go to talk to Putin or what, or maybe Putin's team, like his
His
equivalent.
aides.
Right.
And then like Putin like rolled into Ukraine pretty shortly after. Like it didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, like maybe another setup where like Biden was like, yeah, yeah,
And she
Kamala,
started a war.
you go over there and be our Ukraine czar.
Not the Greek cranes are.
like, and then
Oh
like
my
she goes over
God.
there. But in all fairness to her, like I think there were many voices saying Putin's about to roll into Ukraine no matter what.
Mhm.
Like he's about to do this. Not, and it doesn't matter what kind of meetings you call. He knows that the United States isn't really going to do anything about it other than send money.
Right.
I mean, he probably underestimated how much money we would continue to send and for how long.
Right.
Um, but I think he knew the stage was set that like the U.S. was going to send money, but they were going to be under a lot of pressure not to send too much money. They definitely weren't going to send troops. Well, I mean, that was pretty obvious, but
Mhm.
yeah, I think they just saw the stage was set to like that. Yeah, yeah, we can pull this, and this Biden team is not going to do anything about it, or isn't going to
Well,
do anything hard about it.
right.
Like they'll
Right.
print money and send over because that's kind of like, I
That's
mean,
what they do.
in all honesty, to like the Biden administration, that's kind of easy
Right.
because the Uniparty was all about yes, yes, all about printing that money and sending it over to Ukraine
Yeah.
because it was putting money in the pockets of contractors, U.S. contractors, weapons manufacturers in Virginia, North Carolina, all like,
Yeah. Building more bombs to drop.
Everybody was making cash, was earning.
So sad. Well, I hope that, we figure it out. I hope that, they're right, that this is the opportunity of a lifetime to have this many people that are interested in saving what is left of our country. Because like Roseanne said, like our country is the last stopping point that's protecting the world. Like we are the biggest and the brightest and the best. So we got to figure it out.
um, yeah, I mean, I don't think well, I think some people do realize that like this is the last bastion of, I mean, I don't want to be like, whatever you call it, main character syndrome with America and all that, but it's like I'm pretty
Sounding pretty
well,
imperialist
in
there,
all in
Christopher.
all in all fairness, I think when they like rate freedom, like when libertarians really go around the world and rank freedom, America doesn't do well. Like countries like Finland do better, like personal freedoms and stuff like that.
Right.
But
Like the
they're
cops aren't
also
gonna go to a citizen's house and with
Yeah,
three,
but they
four
don't have
people
our
or a squirrel.
military.
yeah, but it's like you can't really compare because it's like, well, they're allowed to kind of have that because they are under the umbrella of other superpowers protecting them from being attacked. Because it's like
Right.
again, like it's 2024. We all have phones that have computer chips, that are more powerful than the first, you know, uh, spaceship that supposedly landed on the moon. But it's
Oh my
like,
God.
but humans are still the same. Like humans are still very aggressive and very get
Crazy,
real
unpredictable.
testy about natural resources and like stability. And like humans, like we're still the same thing we were 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago. Like humans have not evolved at all, even though our technology has. Like we're still like
Yeah.
up for a fight. So it's like countries like Finland, like they kind of exist under an umbrella where they don't have to really worry about anybody trying to attack them anymore. And
Right.
not because they're strong, they're just under a really nice umbrella. So not fair to compare, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure where. But
But I'm glad you
we
did
were,
anyways.
we were talking about America and free. While I got off on that tangent,
Uh,
I
well,
forget what I
I
was talking
mean,
about.
oh, I think I was saying that we're like the freest and the best. You said
Oh yeah, yeah. So
hold on.
I don't think there's like a major first world country like
It's China, bro. What are you talking about? They're living in the future, man.
well, but I don't think they may be, but they don't have freedom. Like there's no other like freedom experiment going on. You know what I mean? Like there's
Right.
not like Australia. Like you would think Australia could be, but they're not at all. Not at
Yeah.
all. Like you'd think that they'd be like on their own like awesome freedom experiment on this giant island,
Hmm.
Nope.
but they're not at all. Like they're very woke. It's very, I guess, whatever they do, whatever
Yeah.
they want, but they're
They
not
got
even,
big spiders. They have their own hell that they have to deal with.
they're not like,
They got killer plants there,
they're,
bro. They got killer plants.
they are, but they're also like, they're a pawn. Like they're a pawn. Like they're not in control of their own destiny because they're near China. So,
That's no way to speak of our allies, Christopher.
well, I
Our
would,
allies
if they
down
were
under.
down, I'm just, they're weird. They're like, you would expect better from them.
Hmm.
You would expect better from them because when like they had some murders and like, they were like everybody should get hand in their turn in their guns and they were all like okay,
Yeah.
it's like
Mostly
okay,
peaceful
well I'm
nation.
sure China
Just
was pretty pumped about that because it's like wow they could just well
Going
like
on
walk
Google
right on
shit.
over.
you have like China's just like you mean you have this first world country that's like rich and they're all pacifists. Oh
Yeah. Defenseless.
wow, thank you very much.
We must go
Except
and
for their
That is so great.
killer spiders and their big killer
killer
lizards. They have
plants.
Like
killer plants.
they're the closest Western first world country that could pose a threat, and it's like they're all pacifists
Yeah.
who don't want to offend anybody, who don't want to
It's like
offend anyone. Like, ooh,
the gods have smiled upon us.
yeah, they have. Yeah.
Oh my
Anyway,
god.
but yeah, we are the last like freedom experiment. Not that we are even that free, because we are all up in our
Check the
own
fine print,
shit all the
everybody.
time. Like,
Check the fine print.
yeah, we are up our asses all like and we do it to ourselves too. But we are the last experiment to where I mean I'm sure people in England right now, because England is going through like
Changes.
crazy times where you can't well it's a whole nother subject, but like
Are you talking
England is
about the
quiet.
memes?
Well, like they're quietly going through I don't know how to describe it, but like their own government is putting people in jail
Hmm.
for posting the truth, like saying the truth on Facebook or Twitter that, hey, a Muslim kid or Muslim guy killed a bunch of kids, like,
Right.
and they put people in jail for that. Like, they're going through some. I can't, like, I don't want to say much about it. People should look into it themselves because how you wouldn't believe it the way I describe it because it's
Yeah.
like
It
1984
seems
type
so
shit. They were the one their guy wrote 1984
yeah, it seems so far-fetched, but
and they're
here we are.
becoming it really fast. It's wild.
Yeah. It's because
It's
people
wild.
give in. I mean, I think that this win, if you will, is put a stop to, I mean, that's what they want. They like globally, they want us to eat bugs and like it, like not to own anything, not all of the things. These are real things. Everybody's up in arms about Project 2025, but there's some real things that you can look into of what they're trying to
I have
do.
hope. I have hope.
Yeah.
I have hope. And let's get into like, so I wanted to talk a little bit about who voted.
Okay.
So not so much about the numbers, and I guess it's too early. I guess all the California votes aren't in, so we don't really know the total numbers yet. Maybe get into that more next week. But like, so what I was asking, what we were talking about in our group, maybe talked about on the show, was like, how will the young people vote? How will the new voters vote? The
Yeah.
people that just
They will
turned
vote out of
18.
fear, is how they'll vote.
So 18 to 22, I don't know. Maybe 18 to 22, they couldn't vote for Biden in 2020 or Trump, but they've experienced the last 4 years. And this was the first time they could actually vote in a presidential election. And they skewed big towards Trump. Young people changed a lot
Mhm.
and
Well, I
voted for
think
Trump.
that their parents either laid down or stood up. And I think a lot of parents, as we saw with this vote, a lot of parents stood up so that their kids saw their parents as, oh, we're not laying down for this bullshit. Like we're going to stand up too. And I think that, you know, if
I'm sure there's a lot of
the
that.
parents, the people that are crying and screaming, their parents have raised them to be scared, victims, scared of everything, like victims, like real victims to the system, to society, like real victimhood. And they
Yeah.
believe it. They believe that they've been victimized. They believe that they're going to lose their rights. I think you're doing a good job. I think I've done a good job of raising kids that are going to think for themselves and going to look around and say, wait a second, like I'm not on fire. Like you can tell me I'm on fire, but I'm literally not on fire. So where's the fire, you know?
Yeah. Well, I
I don't
mean, they
know.
voted for Trump. So it's like, I think if
Yeah.
the parents were like scaring them, it didn't work.
Right.
But I think there's kind of like a mix because there's
Scaring them
like,
the other way is what they did.
well,
Yeah.
that's a tricky, I think that's a wash because you have like you'll have, so if you've got conservative parents, there's going to be kids that just rebel against it because that's what kids do.
Mhm.
But then you also have parents that are nut jobs that are scaring their kids
Yeah.
into thinking that. So I think it's, and maybe I don't know if it's kind of a wash, but it's like I
Parents
think
that openly weep for their kids' future.
not that you can, but if you were to remove like the parental influence from the young people and
Mhm.
just kind of
Sure.
give them the credit of saying they just experienced the last 4 years and now they get to have a say, and now what do they choose, and kind of take away the fact that yes, their parents have a lot to do with it, whatever. They were like,
Right.
they went for Trump. They went for Trump.
Well, I think the basic stuff in the zeitgeist for new voters would be like the price of gas. Like they see things that affect them because, you know, young
I think
voters
that,
are,
and it even goes beyond it. It goes beyond like, it goes beyond, because I think that's a huge part of it for sure. Like I have $40 less this week
yeah,
than I did.
yeah,
It goes beyond that, but it also is like they see the grown-ups saying up is down and black is white, and they're just like, no, it's not.
yeah,
No, something's not right with you grown-ups. Like you're telling us that boys can be men and men can, or boys can be girls, or girls can be, you're telling me that like dudes can be in the locker room with girls. Well, you're telling me that like I will get suspended if I go in there, but
right,
this guy can be like, I'm a girl and he can go in there
right,
and everybody knows he's just a weirdo, or everybody in the eighth grade
right,
knows like this is bullshit. And it's like, or,
yeah.
obviously not near voting age, but like they've been
Well,
told
they
a lot
also
of
missed
stuff that
out.
just doesn't, they've been told a lot of stuff that went way too far. So like there's a generation that was just like, you should be nice to these people that are different. And they were like, that generation was just like, you're right, we should be. and maybe they took that too far, but they were like a big focus was that. But then they were like, then they try to tell the young people, no, 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 you should believe that having your tits chopped off or having your balls chopped off when you're
Even
before you go into
I don't
puberty is normal. Like
I don't
then
even think that
that's when the
that's
kid
like things
that's
that
when the
kids are
young well no
listening
we're
to.
not kids, but these are like
Young adults. I think
these
if
are
you
young
think about the
adults
four
that
years, the last 4 years before you're 18, you're in high school. They missed half of their high school experience. I think they would be pretty pissed off about that, you
oh
know?
that's just part of it too, but it's well that's part of it too is like they yeah, that's the theme of it is like they are a generation that the grown-ups have always kind of bullshitted kids, but like
Yeah.
they were of a generation where it was like the grown-ups tried to bullshit the kids way too much on the gender
Yeah.
stuff, on uh the books in schools, on like what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, just their
on
own
uh
lived
on
experience.
even though you don't know a single friend that's your age that's 14 that's ever gotten sick from COVID, we're gonna have you stay at home and mask up
Yeah.
and
And you have to get a
wreck your
shot,
life.
which
Yeah.
kids just love getting fucking shots. That's always was the highlight of having children is when you have to
Yeah.
take them in to get a shot. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
sure they felt
the
that.
grown-ups just started they started just they were just telling too big a lies.
Yeah.
Like because it
Yeah.
works a little bit. Like you can tell your kid that if they don't brush their teeth, then like the tooth fairy is only going to give them a quarter,
It's
where
also kind of in your
but like
natural
you can't
ability to
tell 17 year
rebel, right?
olds you can't
Yeah.
tell 17-year-olds like giant whoppers
Yeah.
like you
They
should
want to
mask
rebel
up.
too.
You should
Yeah.
mask up except when you're eating. Like because at that age, every kid at that age is like a freaking bullshit. Like it's just like a bullshit. It just wants to think you're full of shit.
Right.
So once you start that generation, man, once you start telling the bullshit, like a lot of the COVID lies,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that drove them to like to Trump.
And think if you
Um,
had like an older brother that had the full high school experience and he played football all 4 years, or you had an older sister and she was a cheerleader all 4 years and she got all of the like her homecoming and her freshman, all the things that they do. And then you're so excited to be a freshman and then you don't even get to go to school for 2 years. Like I'm sure they feel a lot of kids graduated this year, feel like they missed out a little bit and they're not maybe as prepared as they would be. And they know that, like you would
well,
have to
those
know that.
well, plus like it's crazy to think like those kids in California that weren't able to go to school in person.
Yeah.
Well, they have cousins in Texas that missed like 2 months and
Yep.
were back in school in person day one
Yeah.
of that next year. Like never
Yeah. It's crazy. I hate
like
that. I hate what they did to the kids.
you Manny and like Addie and y'all are there out California at that
Hmm.
time, Manny, back then. I don't know if my internet's bad or my
It was
internet was
mine, but
unstable. But like I was just in shock that like I'd be like telling Addie, like I was like, y'all, like do people in California know that everybody in Texas is back at school? Like, and we have been for
Yeah.
a year. Do y'all know that?
When
we
Like,
we
knew.
moved to,
is the California internet blocking out anybody in Texas that is showing you like we've been in school for a year and all the kids are fine? Like
we
are they
moved
hiding that
20
from you?
minutes
Like that's
in 2020,
it's
we moved
crazy.
20 minutes from just to a different neighborhood, basically. But it's a different county, and the restaurants were open, and the kids were going to school. And in my other neighborhood, 20 minutes away, closed down, no restaurants, everything shut down. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's
It's like no
wacky.
school, no food for you.
Yeah.
Stay home.
Yeah, I think that was it. Like the lies were too big on
Yeah.
a whole range of issues, right? From
Yeah.
gender stuff to just plain, you maybe wear a damn mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always
So many lies.
said
So
it
many
many
lies.
times. I would drop my son off every day and be like, just remember, son, your science teacher, and make you wear a mask today.
Yeah.
Like
Ooh.
different, like who voted. So then, what about like, so what I was suspecting earlier, like before the election, was that Trump would win, and
Mhm.
I felt like he should win based on all the numbers that in every demographic he was trending up, right?
Right.
In Hispanics, like college educated, non-college educated, African Americans, whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, how can he not win? But I don't know, those groups, I guess those groups kind of voted like African Americans voted like 20% for Trump,
Mhm.
up from 13, because I think
I
he
They
was
were
think
like he
Gen
got
riding.
like
X showed out.
9%.
I heard that Gen X showed it was like 53%
Oh
of the
yeah,
people
yeah.
that
What
voted
about
were
that?
Gen X.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So good for us.
I hadn't thought about that because I don't really think about myself and my generation that much, but like that makes a lot of sense, and I like that. I like to hear that.
Wait, did
I
they
Yeah.
like to
sit
hear
out the
that.
previous election then? Is that what it is?
Maybe, probably Gen X, is bunch of latchkey kids, kind of whatever, whatever, whatever. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think also though, we've
Yeah.
been lied to the most, if you think about it, and especially about Russia. Our entire life we've been lied to about Russia. So I think that people are just
Gen
maybe
X could
we're
sit
fed
like
up.
but the Gen X attitude overall is like we definitely have like a I don't give a fuck about that mode.
Yeah,
Like, just don't care.
Yeah.
yeah,
Doing the hand motion too, like
I
just to
like it.
be like we can be like, yeah, don't care about those people, don't care. Like we just have a because it's like because our generation, like there was a time where my parents were just like, we're going to work now. You stay here for 30 minutes until the bus shows up, and
Yeah.
like we're like, but no one's gonna watch us. Like, like we kind of grew up maybe a little bit feeling like they don't really grown-ups didn't really care that much,
Yeah, no
left
one's
us
gonna
alone
save
a
us.
lot.
For sure.
It's
And
like,
then
oh,
the
we are
Amish,
So
did you
alone.
see the Amish too? Turned, I guess they
I
had,
can see Gen X could sit at a lot of elections and then at some point be like, no, 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 no. This is we're all in this one.
yeah,
What were you
yep.
saying? What were you asking?
The Amish, I guess they had a bunch of raw
Oh
milk
yeah.
seized and more Amish registered voters. I think that's why they won Pennsylvania, I guess. All over TikTok, they're like, support an Amish person now. So they have like websites you can order from them.
Man, why do
So
they gotta go
I'm
after
not
the
sure if
raw
they had the
milk?
numbers to yeah, that was it, but I don't know if they had the numbers to make a huge difference, but it was like an inspirational difference, right?
yeah,
You
I
know what I
just
mean? I
love,
think the like even if there's only 10,000 Amish that voted, it's like that inspires other people to be like, damn, even the
yeah,
Amish are like, think this lady's
yeah,
crazy. Like,
If the Mennonites came out.
yeah. If they're running the Trump flags.
I'm kind of
Oh,
like, if Trump only got like the same amount of votes that he got in 2020, that seems a little bit dodgy to me. But at the same time, I could see how some people would think that this election was in the bag. Like there was no
yeah,
doubt in anybody's mind that Trump was going to win Texas. So
Mhm.
probably some people in Texas may have sat out because they felt like they didn't really have to
yeah,
vote because he won by like 16 points or something here, like
sure.
13 or 16. Um,
Oh,
but young people turned out for Trump. I think that was the thing I was most curious about. Because I guess,
yeah,
by rule, they're the most unpredictable, that
sure.
18 to 24 group.
Fucking wild cards. I remember those
Yeah,
They
years.
would be Yeah, they would be the most unpredictable and the most easily swayed by current conditions.
Hmm.
sure.
So I think about the first time I voted, I think for presidential candidate, Bill Clinton,
Yeah,
92 maybe. Um, yeah, I was like very swayed about
You're part
like
of the problem,
my
Chris.
my whole worldview was based on 1992.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like no
hmm.
context. That was it. It was
Yeah,
like my whole
no,
worldview was like whatever they were saying in 1992, and Arsenio Hall was like, this guy can play the saxophone. I was like,
And he can
okay,
inhale.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
he seems
there
like a
was
man of the
not really a
people.
lot of outside influence. Like that was it. Like maybe you read a People magazine at the doctor's office, or you know what I mean? Like, wasn't that much information about we didn't know as much about the candidates, you know?
That was a tricky year still because it was like I think we talked. Ross Perot was there because Bill
Mm-hmm.
Clinton did not win a plurality. No, he didn't win a majority, but he won a plurality because he won
Mm.
with like in the 30s, I think like 39% of the popular vote or something like that. Because Ross Perot really took a bunch of votes away from George Bush. So anyway, that was a complicated year. It was still an analog time,
Yeah.
right? 1992.
Right.
Depending on like
Yeah,
three,
that's what I
four, or
meant.
five channels,
Yeah,
but it was also like there were three legitimate candidates that year.
right.
Like we haven't had that since. Um
Hmm.
anyway,
Are sure we
but
haven't?
he won.
He won.
I really didn't look at other groups. I guess the Hoteps were disappointed that African Americans still only voted 20% for Trump.
Hmm.
They were
Hmm.
Well, they're
actually
gonna.
it was kind of interesting their take, or at least one of their takes on that was like every other demographic in America was basically Trump,
Hmm.
or at least close, right? Because like white liberal, like yeah, they're like they were at least like they were still like 60-40 Harris Trump.
Hmm.
Right.
And they were kind of aggravated that in the black community it's like still 80-20 for Kamala and the Democrats.
Yeah.
And like this is like the Hotep's point of view was like maybe that should be embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like maybe we should drop the whole attitude that we're right
Right.
and everybody else is wrong, and like maybe we're the outlier, and maybe like Asians, Latinos, women,
Hmm.
college
Right.
women, non-college, uh, Nigerians, like every demographic in the United States was at least close.
Yeah. But I mean, if you think about how they strategically remove the black man from the home, it does make to make the government the man of the house, it does make sense that it that life gets passed down. I grew up on Medi-Cal and welfare and government cheese and standing in line for food. And I was like, I will never take a cent from the government. I will never, like, I knew I didn't want that for me or my children. But a lot of families, like, you know, you're 18 years old, or maybe you're a girl that gets pregnant young in your family, your mom teaches you immediately how to get on the system and get a check and get food stamps and get indoctrinated into this life of you think the government is helping you when I mean obviously it's not, nothing for free is helpful, but I don't know,
It's
it's
just
just
human
I think
nature
it's
too.
just
Yeah, it's human nature to like if there's a system in place to make it easier, then if you
yeah,
make a mistake, then it's like yeah,
yeah,
not that it's yeah, but it's like if there's not really consequences and there's a system set up to like remove consequences, then yeah, there's kind of
yeah, yeah,
consequences to that are negative.
Right.
yeah. That's a whole rabbit hole though with the black community, like Black Wall Street and what they did with their money, and it's just like a whole thing. It's just, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean it is
it's
something
crazy
that
that it's
is
still 80-20. It's crazy that they don't see that the Democrats are not for them. They don't care about that. It's just, it's weird.
I get it
But
because it's like it's I think that in particular America has I'm not even talking about like racist whitey. I'm talking about like the American government,
Hmm.
Hollywood, um, businesses, like money making things have just really just kind of just misinformed a lot like like groups of people. And
yeah,
so it's like I get it. Like I kind of get why it is that way. I think it was like Lyndon LBJ, like Lyndon Baines John. It was Lyndon Johnson's idea. I think
Right.
he's the one that was like 80. Like he was the one that was like the mastermind of this whole 80-20 system that they've got set up that really
yeah,
harms a lot of people.
Yeah.
Cause a lot of like just is like permanent division, and it also just harms a lot of people. But yeah, that's what the Hoteps were saying. They were just like, why? Like, what the,
Right.
like they were like even Latinos, like
Well, yeah, the
Hey
Latinos
man,
don't
like
like.
every group,
if we're
like
not busy stealing black jobs, we're over here voting for the
yeah, it's
wrong
like they were
candidates.
like every group, even like groups that were like the worst done by like the the whitey society, like
Hmm.
even like like in Texas, the not that there's a lot of shift to be had, but um not a lot of places to shift, but like there's a couple counties on the southern border of Texas
Right.
that are just were Democrat, there's always Democrat counties.
Did they flip?
They flipped.
Ooh.
These are counties that are just like all Hispanic. And even them, they're just like, nah, this is getting out of control. Like again, because people want stability. It doesn't matter what color you are, what race, creed, whatever. Like you want stability because you want like that's like the basis of prosperity and knowing where your food is going to be next month.
Yeah.
It's like people want stability and it's not
Yeah.
stable. So
No.
it's like again to get back to Kamala Harris being the worst candidate because like there was no defense of all this instability.
Hmm.
Like there's so much bullshit, so many lies that it was like she paid the ultimate price for like all the lies coming crashing down.
Yeah.
And then couldn't even count on Hollywood to like help her numbers because they're all
Well, they
basically
got
just
their own can of
it
worms
just
with
look
Yeah.
their.
like it just because it all
But
looked like a Diddy party. We
they
said that before.
all literally.
Like yeah, I really kind of like if I wanted to like steel man her position and like kind of give her the benefit of the doubt, she was in a and let's just say she wasn't the person that really forced Joe out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
She was just the person that was just like you got to
The
take
thing
on the
started.
job. Like you got
Yeah.
to like
She's like, no, I don't want it.
it's like yeah, even though it was really it's like yeah, it was just a terrible position to be in. Like there's not and then it's like you can't even and she was also to be very fair asked to defend somebody else,
Yeah.
Joe Biden and all his
Yeah.
moronic
She's attached to
decisions.
him. Yeah.
But she was dumb enough early on to be like so petty and jealous that every time Joe Biden did something and it looked like NBC and CNN liked it, she was so petty that she'd be like, I was the last one in the room. I was there too. You know what I mean? Like she made it a point to be like to like kind of claim all the accomplishments and be like, I was there in
Yeah.
that room. I was there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, and then it just like so then when she came to Rand, she couldn't separate herself from all that, and she was
Right.
just in like everything about her whole campaign and was just indefensible, right?
Hmm.
Like I'm you know I don't even like I try to like I kind of think about the other side and I'm like I don't even think I could form a good argument for her against Donald Trump
Yeah.
like knowing his weaknesses and all that kind of stuff. It's like there's no real I guess
Well,
like
I mean,
try to get under his skin.
right.
So he says or does something horrible, but like that didn't really work either.
I'm glad it's
And yeah, just
over.
terrible. Yeah, like terrible
I'm
candidate in her
I'm glad
defense.
it's over. I'm glad I'm happy for the
It's
people that
not
don't
over
have to
yet. We
pretend
still
like
got.
they like J Lo anymore. You can all go back to that. I'm just I'm glad that we have no other choice but to see what happens and let the dust settle and hopefully, that the peace through strength is a real thing and we start seeing that and that's my hope. That's my hope, Annie. That's what I'm
You're
praying for.
you're finally being unburdened by what has been. It
Yes,
sounds
I am
like.
unburdened by what has been. I do feel I mean it does feel a little bit, you know, the cost of anything coming down would be a gift at this point.
Right.
Milk, eggs, gas, coffee, booze,
Steak.
a steak. I have my steak for a year, but still. Oh my gosh. Well, I guess we lost Christopher, but
No, we
it's
didn't lose him.
getting
He just had to step away for a quick second. I think he
okay.
went to go. He's just laying the groundwork to start a fire. Is my only guess. A celebratory
Nice.
fire.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
Yes.
a
Of all
patriotic
nights to have
fire.
a fire, it should be tonight, right?
I would want to have one myself, but fuck, it's too damn cold to go outside. I don't even want to go step outside to smoke, man. I was just like, fuck that, man.
That's why you have to build a fire to be warm.
I
You can't
don't
really
I
build a fire in LA City though, right? Like in this, could you
you
build a fire in
can.
your backyard?
You
Okay. Do
can. Like
you have a fire pit? You need a pit?
I need to make a pit, that's the thing. Otherwise
Gotcha.
my entire yard will go up in flames and then yeah,
Nice.
it wouldn't know. It would not be good.
We
I
we
still
just
need to be
assumed that you
around.
went to go build a fire.
Oh no, it's raining here. It's been
Oh,
raining.
So no
bummer.
celebratory fire for Chris then.
I had a fire.
Bummer.
I did have a fire Tuesday night.
Good.
Yeah, I had a big
Good.
fire in the backyard in the
Danced
fire
around
pit.
it.
Well, chanting, no dancing, just chanting.
Okay, good. Good, good, good.
Let's see. So we covered who voted.
hmm
So lastly, we talked about, yeah.
Got his own
So
list over there, didn't share it with
you know
us.
how I
So
say like we're splitting into two different species?
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a concern, right? Like leading into the election, did y'all see the memes? So you saw the memes from our side, and they were like, um, hey, gas will be expensive and you can't afford groceries, but hey, you still can have an abortion or whatever, right?
hmm
There were
Yeah.
those memes, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
So that's what like coming out of our side, kind of stuff like that. And then, but like, I don't know if people on our side are aware that on the other side, like they were churning out just as many of the memes, but it was the complete opposite. It was, hey, you'll have cheap gas and you'll have, you know, cheap gas and cheap eggs, but your daughter's rights will be stripped. Like
Yeah.
insert
Yeah.
dramatic thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
my
hope you
point is
enjoy
like
your
they
cheap
see
gas. Yeah.
things like from a totally different perspective, like different, like they see things like the lion sees things one way and the
hmm
jaguar sees things another way.
Yeah.
Like the lion is in a pack and then whatever, and the jaguar is like, I'm trying to like solo mission and like just like different species. Similar, but like just different.
And I learned this week, I don't really chop it up too much in, with people. I don't get into like disagreements with them online, but I did notice that like the people that did interact with me this week are very upset and they have there's no rational thoughts. I mean, the lady told me that the the
You interact with a lot more
the
women than we
the
do, yeah.
killing in Gaza was because Trump is best friends with Netanyahu. And I was like, what? Like that's what? That was what
Yeah.
she's a full-grown adult with connected brain tissue. She told me that this week. I was just like, I think that there's a lot of people that just don't know a lot of stuff and they don't want to hear it. They just
They
don't
hate
want to hear
Trump.
it.
They hate Trump so bad that even though like there's all kinds of killing going on there now under Biden, and
Right.
arguably because of his policies, like they hate Trump so much that they
They
don't want him to be
rationalize it.
elected because they think he's gonna make it worse
Yeah, I
or
heard
something.
that too. Good luck. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Somebody told me good luck with the fires. Like basically, I hope you burn
Like
in
like their
California.
their
That's like
their
all the
rash
things.
their rationale is that a bunch of Gazans are being killed now, but Biden is minimizing it and Trump is going to maximize. It's like, geez, good Lord.
Yeah.
It's like, I kind of stopped trying. I don't like, I see
Yeah.
it and I'll chime in every now and then, but it's like, I've stopped trying to long form explain to people like that
Yeah. I
because
think
there's,
I've been closeted. I think I've been very closeted. I know I'm not in our group, but I think like on my personal page and like I just try and keep the peace. I want people to like me. I want people to think that, I'm nice and kind and all
is
the
that's
things.
the vibe you're trying to put out, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Trying to put out the people. Okay.
People do
Okay.
like me,
No, I mean,
Christopher.
that's, no, it's, I just wasn't like, that's the vibe you're trying to put out. All
I
right.
said not in our group. In our group, I'm my true self. On my
I'm just kidding.
Facebook page, I'm a little more
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
demure. Demure. All right, I gotta go.
Y'all have a great weekend. We won.
It's
We won. We're
10:40 in my
winning.
real time.
Hey, I'll just say we won and we are winning. But I tell you what, these dirty, filthy communists are right around the corner. They're regrouping right now.
Yes.
They don't feel like they lost. They feel like they got to just kind of change up their tactics.
Yeah.
And I'm not like, I'm not joking.
That's what she said. She said, we haven't lost. We have to keep fighting. The fight's going to be long. She said, fight like 32 times. So they're going to
Mhm.
regroup and keep fighting.
Yeah, they are devious. They're dirty, filthy communists, little jealous, unproductive little scumbags that want to have control over people without really doing any hard work. So it's
Yep.
like
It's not how it works, man.
they can all go to hell.
Yeah.
But they're there and they're regrouping and they're looking at 2026, you know. They're looking at 2056 and
Gavin.
they're
This,
devious.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's like the
Oh,
easiest of them to pick off though, like because he's so
I hope
stupid.
so. Good Lord.
I love how I love how that Gavin Newsom is trying to take the reins.
Yeah.
When now that Kamala lost, like he's trying to like step up and be like, okay, everybody,
I'm gonna
Let me show you how it's
Trump-proof
done.
California.
this is my gym now.
Right?
Like I'm
Ugh.
gonna get everybody straight here. And everybody's just like, what? Really? Like, no,
Yeah.
man,
Fuck
you
out of here,
need to go.
Gavin.
Can you go clean the bathroom? Go clean the
Yeah.
bathroom.
Go clean up another homeless camp and pay
Like,
$100,000 for the photo op, you bitch.
like
Sorry.
you stay cleaning up the bathroom. We'll find a new manager at the gym. Like you don't know. You're not gonna like claim the position of head
He's
honcho.
gross.
Oh my goodness, I love it. He's trying though,
So
but
greasy.
I kind of want him to have a little bit of success because then it doesn't work out for him. You know what I mean? Like COVID, the French Laundry thing. Like
Just
he
taste
was
Oh,
it.
trying, he was trying to be a leader and then just got destroyed,
ugh,
destroyed because he's a
trash.
phony. He's a phony.
He put my daughter out of work so many times during 2020, had my poor son working every single day at the liquor store. Like that shit was open extended hours, but people in the service industry, sorry, can't be
That
dealt
is
with.
one of them. That's one of them right there where it's like young people are just like, hold on. I can't
Yeah,
go to school, but the liquor store is open. Okay,
yeah,
grown-ups, fuck you. Fuck you.
yeah,
Like we
yeah,
see you.
exactly.
Like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's like I don't it doesn't matter if your parents were cool to you or like that's what I was saying before, like take away like the whole parental environment.
yeah,
Like they told young people they couldn't go to school, but the liquor store was open.
yeah.
Like they pick
My
up on that kind of
son,
stuff. They pick up on it.
my
They
son
pick
is
up
the
on that.
first person in his entire bloodline to graduate from college. And he didn't get to walk in his graduation because of COVID. Like, that's gonna piss you off a little bit, you
For sure.
know? As a
Yep.
family, it's maddening, you know?
Yeah.
We'll never get that back. That will
Yep.
never happen again. He will
Yep.
never be the first person in his entire bloodline to graduate from college and literally not get to wear a cap and gown. I mean, we obviously bought it and took pictures and stuff, but
Yeah.
still, it's
Yeah, I mean, you're
bullshit.
right because I'm talking about some of like the psychological things and messages, but it's like no, there were just some clear slaps in the faces, like
Yeah, real slaps
yeah,
in the faces. Yep.
and then
Because what
like
we think of you and your freedoms and your
what was it?
Yep.
liberties.
Wasn't there was a group that didn't get to graduate? What happened recently this year where the group didn't get to graduate in high school because of COVID, and then they were about to graduate college, and there was something else that happened.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
I forget
right.
what that was this year.
The original class, yeah, I can't remember what it was that stopped him either. Oh,
Was it like
yeah,
a was it like a I
It
don't
was
know.
some
I forget
bullshit.
what one of the
yeah,
two might have been legitimate, but not both.
Mhm.
You
yeah.
know, like get
So
screwed over from
horrible.
something major, a major life event at one point, and
Yeah.
then exactly 4 years later, getting screwed out of this like a very similar life event.
Yeah.
That yeah, one of them could not have been legitimate. Probably
Well,
both
I
weren't.
mean, I think you're right. It did create a lot of angry young people, just got to see for real firsthand how big government can affect your small life.
Yeah. Well, there'll be more numbers coming about. We'll talk about it more, but I'm curious, like, if that is kind of what won it for Trump, and like, who would have thought that the youngest voting bloc voted in the oldest elected president ever, older than
Nice.
Reagan. It's funny because that's the thing they're going to say, like, oh, Trump's old, he's so old, and we need to see his medical records, and he's got dementia, like, oh, he slurred a
Yeah.
word. That's what they're going to say,
Yeah.
and it's like the
Yeah.
young people voted for, like,
Yeah.
the old people voted for Kamala. If you look at the numbers, like 65 plus, they all voted Democrat. They or not all,
Yeah.
but they were heavily Kamala. And
Yeah.
the young people were
Which
just like, I want that.
they're
The young people said, I want that old guy.
they've stated that they were holding back the raise of the Medicare cost until January, till after the election.
Isn't
Like
that
they were
great
going to
when they just
stick it
say
to
it?
the old people.
They just
They were
say,
going to screw them, and they voted the most for them.
and they just
Just
announce it too.
unbelievable.
They just announce
Just
it.
said it out loud. No big deal. We're going to
And
wait
it's
until
like,
after the
we're
election
gonna
to raise
wait.
your Medicare
Yeah.
costs.
Yeah.
You won't be
Executive.
able
And
to
it's
afford
like,
your medicine in January. Good luck to you.
you're just like, well, why? Is it better to do it in January? Like, is it save you money to do it? No, we just don't want you to vote against us. Like,
Yeah.
whoa.
It's like that's how
I
this
thought
whole
it was
thing works.
I thought it was because it was like cheaper to like print new things and price lists in January. No,
Because I
not
know,
at all.
stupid. That's not why.
Purely manipulation of your vote. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, the old people still voted for Kamala. And the young people, again, they voted for the old guy. They were like, we want that old guy in there. He seems kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he did some gangster shit. I mean, they took a shot at him and he rose up. He went on Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn. I loved when Dana White thanked Theo Vaughn.
Yeah, that worked. That trickled down because my son he doesn't have social media at all, but he does watch some YouTube. Um, so that stuff trickles down to him, like in like short, kind of silly, non-serious
Ways.
videos, but like set.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
Good night. Happy Friday. Get it on.
Do what you
Get it
want,
on.
everybody.
Shrink
Yeah.
the federal government, shrink the
Yeah.
government in every way possible.
Be proud to be an
Exercise.
American this week. Be proud to be an
Yep.
American.
Or just exercise your rights. Exercise your right to defend yourself.
Amen.
Don't, if you are a pussy, then you're going to be scared. Like that's the natural state of being that way. But
Yeah.
if you kind of like take charge a little bit, like not much, like,
Just
you know,
what you can.
exercise your right to defend yourself, then no one's going to be rounding up you or your friends.
Yeah.
That's it.
And
Shrink
do
the
some
government.
exercise.
Yeah. You should better run. Like you should better run away from,
Sure. At least be the
something.
fastest one in your house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes. Be the fastest one in your family or your group of friends. Like,
Words to live by.
don't be the slowest one.
All right. Bye, guys.